What's going on, everyone? Peter here, back again for another daily video. I'm outside just enjoying the good weather. Today I want to talk about how progressive overload is still progressive overload. It doesn't matter if you're doing a heavy compound movement, where you're pushing loads of weight like a squat, or you're doing, you're isolating your bicep and you're doing a bicep curl. You still want to be applying progressive overload, and people tend to forget this because tend to think, oh, you're only applying a progressive overload, you're only adding lots of weight to your squat, your deadlifts, your bench press, your heavy compound movements, whatever it is. But you still want to be applying progressive overload to your isolation accessory movements as well. And you probably still are, you just don't realise it. Because you can add 2 pounds to your squat fairly quickly if you're, unless you're an advanced lifter. And say you add 2 pounds, so you go from 120 pounds to 122 pounds. Okay, that's a 1.67% increase in weight. Okay, but for you to increase 2 pounds on your bicep curl, let's say you go from 12 pounds to 14 pounds, that's a 16.7% increase. So yes, you can tell I'd done the math beforehand, but that's 2 pound increase from 12 to 14 is a much greater proportion of increase compared to the 2 pounds on the 120 to 122 lift. Okay, so it may take you much longer to go to increase 2 pounds on your bicep curl, because proportionally speaking it's a far greater proportion than it was compared to the squat, so it may take you a lot longer. Okay, and most gyms, they only have, from what I've seen, they might have their dumbbells may go up in 2 pound increments, so it may take you it may take you weeks to move up those dumbbells, but you may be able to increase 2 pounds on your squat every session for a number of weeks, if not months, if you're just beginning. Okay, so what you should take away from this is you should still be focusing on applying progressive overload to every single one of your lifts. Okay, record what you're lifting, and once you're ready to move up the weight, do so safely, and as long as you're executing the exercise correctly, that's what's going to lead to muscle growth in the long term. So you may think, oh, I just increased my dumbbell by 2 pounds and that's not much, but that's the example we just talked about. That's 16.7% increase. That's a whole lot of gains. Okay, and don't forget that even if you're doing a tricep push down, even if you're doing a side lateral raise, even if you're doing what else, rear delt fly, still be trying to increase the weight over time, but it may take you longer. Okay, the progress will be obviously slower because they're much smaller muscle groups, they're much weaker, you can't move as much weight. Okay, so don't forget that. Yes, keep lifting, keep trying to apply progressive overload, to try and increase the number of reps you can do, the number of weight, the weight you can lift in your squat, in your overhead press, in your compound movements. Keep doing that, keep recording it, keep doing it, but don't forget to also apply the same mindset to your lighter work, because it does still matter. Okay, you don't just want to be going in and doing this. If you're just curling the same weight for years on end, for months on end, if you're still at that 14 pound level and you're just throwing the weight around and you're not really paying attention, your biceps aren't going to grow, if you're not making any improvements. So you may be one of those people who's really, you're like a power lifter, you're really on point with your heavy work, but when it comes to the end of the workout, when it comes to giving some TLC to your smaller muscle groups, you may not record the results. You may just you get to the end of the workout and you're just like, okay, I just want to go home now, we'll just bang out a few sets, we'll just use crappy form and we'll just forget about it. If you do that, then you're not going to get the results you want, and this may be the reason why you're slowing down. Okay, so treat your accessory lifts like you would your compound lifts, and that doesn't mean you need to be curling 225 pounds. What it does mean is you need to go in there with the same mindset of improving and increasing the weight when you can. Okay, maybe slower, but you still got to do it. So that's hope you guys learned something from that. It's something that a lot of people do, even myself. I get caught. It's easy to treat your smaller movements with less, and just completely throw them out the window. But if you want to improve, if you want to get bigger biceps, which who doesn't, guns hugging the sleeve, you gotta still be meticulously tracking, still be trying to meticulously improve. Okay, that's what's going to give you the results. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.